Well, happy Friday to everybody. Hope your week has gone well and hope your weekend plans are going to go well, whatever they may be. We are at the final game of June the 12th, game number 407 overall, and we're at the Kingdome in Seattle. It'll be the Cleveland Indians taking on the Seattle Mariners. Not a stellar matchup by any means, but it's on the schedule, so we play it. Almost identical records. Cleveland 22 and 36, Seattle 23 and 36. Kingdome is very hitter friendly for home runs, 1 to 17 for both. Singles are 1 to 5, but 1 to 17 is going to make for probably some long balls, you would say. Starting pitchers, we got left-hander Greg Swindell for the Cleveland Indians, and we got right-hander Scott Bankhead for the Seattle Mariners. Bring the game up on the Strat-O-Matic computer and get this thing going. Looking at some of the numbers on Bankhead, he has a 0 hold. He's a -1 hold, but Kearney, the catcher, is a +1, so he's got a net 0 for holding runners. His wild pitch is 3, his balk is 5. For Swindell, he's got a 0 wild pitch rating, but a 4 balk rating, and he does have a -3 hold with the +1 from Dempsey, makes him a -2. And then pass balls aren't going to be much of a problem. Kearney has a 0, and Dempsey has a 3. So it shouldn't be a whole lot of issues there, you wouldn't think. So we look at Scott Bankhead. He is your starting pitcher in this one for the Seattle Mariners. As we get the game up on the computer and get this thing ready to roll. A little bit behind on doing that. All right, RJL, I'll try to take a look at it if I can. Let's see here. Bring up over here and get over here. And we'll get Scott Bankhead. In the real season, he was 9-8 with a 5.42 ERA. On the replay, he's 3-4 with a 4.70 ERA. 82 innings pitched, 75 hits, 19 walks, and 42 strikeouts. Scott Bankhead. Leading off for the Cleveland Indians will be Brett Butler. Butler is hitting .404 on the replay. 4 homers, 14 driven in. He had .295 real world. And of course, before the first toss of the dice is done, the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip. That's a tradition that's been going on for a while now on these morning games, and that is some good coffee. So on a cool, not frigid, but cool Friday morning here in the Mid-Atlantic, that's a hot cup of coffee is always a nice treat. So here's Brett Butler. He will lead it off. 5-7, and that's going to be a ground ball second base X. We're going to Harold Reynolds right out the bat, and we'll see if he's been watching baseball tonight or not. 2E21. 210, he gets to it. E21, but that's a 15. E21, there's a 4, 13, and 17, so Reynolds makes the play. So obviously he's been tuning in to baseball tonight to get those fundamentals, and he makes the play on Butler. That'll bring up Julio Franco. Franco hitting .296 on the replay, 4 homers, 28 driven in. He had .319 real world. 5-10, and that is a ballpark single check. It's only a 1 to 5, and that's an 8. So we'll keep, with bases empty, we'll go and keep the fly out to right field instead of those line outs to short, which can really accumulate on those failed ballpark checks. So we keep the original fly ball to right. 2 down for Pat Tabler. He is the designated hitter. Tabler hitting .322, 4 homers, 30 driven in. He at .307 real world. 4-9, and that's a fly ball to left. So all down there by Bradley, and Bankhead goes 1-2-3 on the Tribe. Good start for Scott Bankhead. Expected this to be a pretty high-scoring game. The fact that both these teams aren't very good, and the fact that it's at the Kingdome, which certainly benefits the batters for the long ball. On the mound for Cleveland, left-hander Greg Swindell. On the 87 season, he was 3-8 with a 5.10 ERA. On the replay, he is 4-6 with a 3.80 ERA. He's almost done because he only pitched 112 innings real world, and he's already up to 90 innings Let me see how many starts he actually had. The Strat cards don't tell me that, but go to the computer, it'll tell me. So he had 15 starts. This is start number 12. So he's going to have 3 more starts after this. And then I guess he goes on the shelf for the year. So Swindell will start it off against center fielder Mickey Brantley. Brantley, limited duty since being called up by Seattle. He's hitting .238, 2 homers, 4 driven in, and 42 at bats. He had .302 real world, but that was in 350 at bats. You get a 4-2, and that's a split chance. 1-12 is a single. That's a 17. So he will line it right to Julio Franco for out number 1. 1 away. I'm hoping ID shows up because I do need to ask him a couple of things, but maybe he'll eventually show up. I don't know. If not, I'll try to send him an email. Here is Phil Bradley. He's hitting .219, 6 homers, 20 driven in. He had .297 real world, so he's definitely underperformed. 1-5 and not underperforming here. 1-18 is a home run. That's gone. Phil Bradley, look at it again. 1-5 against the lefty is a 1-18 home run. That's a 15. So for Phil Bradley, home run number 7 on the replay. He had 14 of them real world. So he hits the halfway mark on his home runs with 7. But he's just about 1/3 of his at-bats. That's at bat number 225 for him. He had 603 at-bats real world to get those 14 home runs. So he's definitely ahead of the home run pace. Home run number 7, RBI number 21. And the Mariners lead it 1-0 as he takes Swindell deep. Here comes the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. He's hitting .213 on the replay. 13 homers, 42 driven in. He had .247 in the real season. 4-10. That's another home run chance. 1-19, but that's a 20. Wow. 95% chance for a home run, and he found the 5%. Go figure. It's kind of luck it's been for Presley this season. He will settle with a double. Just missed potentially getting his 14th home run, but he does get his 9th double of the season. He had 23 of those real world, but he gets the 9th one. And that'll bring up Dave Valley, designated hitter. The Mariners are carrying 3 catchers, so you can use one of your catchers as a DH without an issue. We got Kearney catching, but they still also got Scott Bradley on the bench. So if they have to pinch hit for Kearney, you're not going to lose your DH or anything. First havoc roll of the game, nothing happening. So Valley hitting .209 on the replay, 1 homer, 10 driven in. He at .256 real world. 6-10, and that's a ballpark blast for Valley. Again, it's a 1-17, and that's gone. He's got normal power, so 1-17 on the home runs, and that's a 16. 2-run home run from Dave Valley. And the Kingdom definitely giving up the home runs. For Dave Valley, that is home run number 2 on the replay. He had 12 real world. That was number 2 in a bat number 92. He had 324 bats with 12 home runs. So a second home run, RBIs 11 and 12. And the Mariners lead it 3-0. And Swindell getting rocked here in the first inning. Here's Alvin Davis, first baseman. He's hitting .301 on the replay. 13 homers, 38 driven in. He had .295 real world. 6-4. Lefty is a fly to center field that Brett Butler will run down. 2 away. And that's going to bring up John Christensen, right fielder. Kind of platoons with Mike Kingery. So with the lefty on the mound, they have Christensen starting this game. Christensen hitting .250, 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit .242 real world. 5-5 is a strikeout. First strikeout for Swindell, but the 2 long balls give the Mariners a 3-0 lead after 1. Scott Bankhead staked to a 3-0 lead. And we have Joe Carter, the ultimate underperformer, in this replay. He is the poster boy for underperforming in the replay. Joe Carter in the real season hit 32 home runs with 105 runs. 32 home runs with 106 runs batted in and a .264 average. On the replay, he's got 9 home runs, 19 driven in, and a .167 average. And he's had 258 at-bats, so we're long past the small sample size. He has just been snake bit all replay, and I don't know why, but the dice gods have just determined that Joe Carter is not going to do anything. 2-3, and he's going to pop it up to short, so his struggles continue. Ramos makes the catch. Carter frustrated, but can't get out of the slump. Here's Mel Hall, left fielder. Mel Hall hitting .283 on the replay. 7 homers, 20 driven in. He had .280 real world. Or was it .290? .280 real world. Okay. 6'8", lefty. Ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Ramos, 4.36. He's not the fielder that the regular shortstop Quinones would be, but he's the only one they have because Quinones is on the shelf, so he's a 4.36. 4-15, though, he catches a break, and he'll make that play. 4-15 is a G2. That's a 12, and he's an E36. There's a 13, 15, 17, and 16, but no 12. So maybe he was watching some baseball tonight and got pointers from Harold Reynolds. I don't know, but he makes the play. 2 down, and that'll take us to that'll take us to Corey Snyder. Corey Snyder, right fielder. Snyder hitting .231 on the replay, 9 homers, 26 driven in. He at .236 real world. 4-5, and that's a split chance. 1-2 is a single. The 11 is a line out to short. So he lines it right to Ramos. So Ramos involved in all 3 outs. Pop out, ground out, and a line out, all to shortstop. And Bankhead 1-2-3 once again, putting the Tribe in order. Swindell back out, trying to shake off that first inning. And he will be facing Bob Kearney, the catcher. Kearney in limited duty, 31. He only had 47 at-bats all year and hit 170 with no home runs. In the replay, in 31 at-bats, he's hitting 194 with, of course, no home runs. 4-2, it's a split chance. 1-12 is a single. That's an 18. He will line it right to Franco. And that is out number 1. Brings up Ramos, the shortstop, Domingo Ramos. Ramos in just 48 at-bats is hitting .333, a homer and 7 driven in. He hit .311 real world in 103 at-bats. 6-7, and that's a base on balls. First walk issued by Swindell. And Ramos no threat to run. That'll bring up switch hitting Harold Reynolds. He will bat right-handed from the number 9 position. Reynolds hitting .293 on the replay. No homers, 13 driven in. He at .275 real world. 3-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop B. Fielder's choice. So Reynolds hustles and beats the relay throw to avoid the double play. But it is going to be a fielder's choice, and now Harold Reynolds, with being the runner at first, will be looking to swipe second base. He's got a chance to get the lead of a 2-6 or a 9. 7, he does not get the lead, so Reynolds will hold. And here comes Mickey Brantley. 5-7 is a ground ball shortstop X. That's going to be Franco. He's a 2E26. 2-13 is good. That's an 8, and he's an E26. There's no 8 there, so Franco makes the play. And with 2 outs, we'll just say he throws it to first for simplicity's sake. And that will end the inning. So at the end of 2, it's still Seattle 3 and Cleveland nothing. Due up for the Tribe, bottom of the order. Hello, Dr. D. Due up for the Tribe. It'll be Bernazard, Jacoby, and Dempsey against Scott Bankhead. Bernazard, who will later get traded to Oakland. He's going to hit. He's hitting .235, 7 homers, 31 driven in. He at .250 real world. 2-11, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-5 though, but that's a 4, so that's good enough. Bernazard sneaks it by. Leadoff single. Bernazard would be a 1-13 if he got the lead, but you're down 3-0, so I think they're going to hold him there for now. Here's Brooke Jacoby. He's hitting .343 on the replay. 11 homers, 36 driven in. He hit .300 even on the real season. 3-7, and that's a walk. So first two are on for the Cleveland as they try to get back in this ball game. Number 9 hitter Rick Dempsey is at the plate. Dempsey hitting .210 on the replay, a homer and 12 driven in. He hit .177 real world. He doesn't last too much longer with Cleveland. He had 141 at bats real world. He's already had 100 in the replay, so he's winding down his time with the Tribe. 2-7 for Dempsey. That's another walk. That will load the bases. Second walk issued by Bankhead. But all of a sudden, the bases are loaded and nobody out. A single and 2 walks in a row. And now you're back to the top of the order for Brett Butler. So Bankhead in some trouble. Mariners will play the infield back for the double play. They need outs. Get a 1-8, and that's going to be a 1 for a home run. Anything else, that's a 2. He just missed it. It's a deep fly to right field that Christensen will field at the track, but it's deep enough where Bernazard will come home to score on the sacrifice fly to right field. So the first run of the ball game for the Tribe comes in via a sacrifice fly from Butler. 1 out, 2-1 for Julio Franco. 1-8 for Franco, and he gets a single to right field. There's an anti-clutch there, but there are not 2 outs, so that clutch does not take effect. Christensen is a -1 arm. Bernazard is Jacoby is an 11, not being held as a 12, but the -1 arm makes him an 11 again. So they will hold him there, and we will load the bases. The bases are now loaded with only 1 out. And Pat Tabler, who in real world traditionally hit like 500 or something with the bases loaded. He was Mr. Bases Loaded in the real world. Not sure what he is here in the replay as far as bases loaded, but we're going to find out. Tabler. 3-7 for Tabler. Struck him out. Wow. That was a big one there for Bankhead. His first strikeout of the game, and it couldn't have come at a better time. And now who else shows up but Mr. underperforming Joe Carter? If ever was a time for Joe Carter to break out of it for Cleveland, it would be right now. It is a clutch situation, and of course, Joe Carter will lose 2 hits in the clutch, 1-9 and 1-10. That's a 2-8, but he comes through this time. 2-8 is a 1-15 double. So it's a double, 2 stars. A 2-run double has tied this game. So Joe Carter comes through in the clutch. And we are tied at 3 apiece. Franco will have to stop at third base because of the 2 stars with the double, even with 2 outs. But Carter gets the double, 2-run double, and we are tied. Here's Mel Hall. Clutch situation for Hall, and he is completely neutral in the clutch. 1-5, and he's going to get a single, 2 stars. That'll score 2 more runs. 5-run inning for Cleveland. These are the kind of runs I was expecting in this game, with the ballpark being what it is and the poor pitching. 5 runs inning now, and the 9th man to bat in the inning is Corey Snyder. So all of a sudden, Cleveland has exploded for 5 runs. The computer is telling me his Bankhead is tired. Not sure why. Maybe 5 runs in 1 inning makes you tired. I thought it was 6 runs, but maybe not. Okay, so he's tired, but they're going to try to get him through the inning. Hall, let's see if he's going to. No, he's no threat to run. So Corey Snyder, the 9th man to bat in the inning. 6-11, ground ball, shortstop X. They really need Ramos to make this play. He's a 4 E36. 4-15, he'll get to it. E36 and an 11. E36, there's no 11, 13, 15, 16, and 17, but no 11. So Ramos makes the play to end the inning. But man, 5-run inning for the Tribe, and they come back with a vengeance to take the lead 5-3. Bankhead is tired. He will continue to be tired the rest of the game, depending on how long they want to go with him. But you hate to bring your bullpen in the 4th inning. That seems rather early. All right, here's Phil Bradley. He homered his first time up, and now Swindell all of a sudden gets a reprieve. He's got a 2-run lead to work with. 4-11. Ground ball first base X. That's Joe Carter. He's a 3E24. 3-10, he'll get to that. That's a 6, and he's an E24 at first base. There's no 6, so he'll get to it, and he'll flip to Swindell covering for out number 1. That'll send up the hound dog, Jim Presley. That's a 4-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for Swindell, strikeout number 2. So Swindell appears to be rejuvenated, I should say, from the run support. And here is Valley, who homered his first time up. 2-7, and he's going to ground it to short. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Swindell. Talk about your shutdown inning. There it was, right there. 5-3 after 3. We will go to the 4th. Bankhead, remember, is tired, so if we hit those dots, it's going to be a base hit, and by my rule, if I hit a dot on a base hit that turns to out that turns to a hit, it's an automatic pull of the pitcher. So bullpen is loosening for the Mariners. They do have activity just in case. And Steve Shields, he's their long relief guy, along with Mike Trujillo. But I think we're going to go with Steve Shields. Or do they go with Trujillo? Yeah, they're both bad. So both of them have ERAs above 6. So you're not exactly lighten it up when you go to the bullpen. Here's Bernazard. He started the whole mess in the previous inning with what seemed like an innocent single. That's a 4-6 switch hitter, and he's going to start with another single right here. Bernazard singles again. You wonder how long they can go with Bankhead. Bernazard needs a 4, 5, 6, or a 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. 11 he's picked off. That's 10, so he has to hold. Brings up Brooke Jacoby. Shields loosening the bullpen, getting ready as quickly as he can. 1-3, that's a ballpark single. It's only a 1-5, and that's a 6. So he lines it to short. 1 away. Even the outs are being hit hard, which is a bad sign if you're the pitcher. Rick Dempsey, your batter. He walked his first time up. 6-4. That's a catcher X. We're looking at Kearney. It's a 4E9. 4-12. That's iffy. Probably looking at possibly a pass ball here. 4-12 is a P/F. That's a 12, and he is an E9. There's no 12 there. There's a 13. So P/F, we're looking at the wild pitch rating of the pitcher Bankhead to see if it's going to be a pass ball or not. His wild pitch rating is a 3. And no wild pitch, or no pass ball rather, so it's going to be a pop out. And they will gladly take that out. 2 down for Brett Butler. Butler sacrificed flies last time up. 6-9, and that's a split chance, and it's going to be a line out right to Harold Reynolds to end the inning. So they sneak a 4th inning out of Bankhead. And they're going to try to get 5 innings out of him if possible. His fatigue is actually a 6, but he is tired because of giving up those 5 runs in the 3rd inning, or he's tired, ineffective, whatever you want to rule it. So here is Alvin Davis. I hate using the word tired because there's no way he's tired this quickly. If you want to say ineffective, that's fine. Here's Alvin Davis. 5-4. That's a fly ball center field X, Brett Butler. A 2E5 for Butler. 2-12, he'll get to that, no problem. E5, and that is a 9. I don't think that should be an issue either. E5, the only errors are 4, 16, 17, and 18. So Butler, a very easy play. Start the bottom of the 4th. Brings up John Christensen. Christensen, his first time up, was a strikeout victim. 6-7, and that's a base on balls. So he will draw the second walk issued by Swindell. Swindell now has walked 2, struck out 2. Christensen, no threat to run. Here's Kearney, catcher. He lined out to Franco his first time up. 6-5, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3. 2 down, and that's going to send us to Ramos. Walked his first time. 6-5 again, another strikeout for Swindell. That's 4. And he has been on a roll since Cleveland has given him that lead. Go the 5th. Still 5-3. And due up for Cleveland will be Franco, Tabler, and Carter. Heart of the order. Shields has sat down, and now Trujillo is loosing in the Seattle bullpen. Mike Trujillo. 5-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. We just missed the 5-9. He would have had to been pulled with that, and that would have turned into a hit. But a 5-8 stays a strikeout. That's only his second strikeout of the game. But he'll take anything he can get at this point. And here comes Pat Tabler. Tabler is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 5-5. That's a line out to Harold Reynolds at second. 2 down. So maybe they can coax 6 innings out of Bankhead. That would certainly help their cause. At least get 5 of them. Here's Carter. 1-8 for Carter. 1-16 is a single. That's a 15. Maybe it's turning around for Joe Carter finally. His second hit of the game. And he's looking to get a lead, 2 through 5 to get that lead. Doesn't get the lead, he'll hold, and here comes Mel Hall. By 4, fly ball to right, and that's going to be hauled in by Christensen, and that will end the inning. So Bankhead is at least going to go 5 innings. They're going to see if they can risk him for 6, which is his fatigue inning. They would definitely cap him at 6, no question. Swindell can go 7, so he's not showing any signs of wear and tear yet. He got through that rough first inning and has rebounded quite nicely. Here's Harold Reynolds. Hello, Jeremiah. 2-6, and that's going to be a line out to third. Right to Jacoby. 1 away, and we go back to the top of the order for Mickey Brantley. Brantley 0 for 2. 2-5, and this is a ballpark blast for Mickey Brantley. It's a 1-17. It's gone. Mickey Brantley. Solo shot cuts the lead to 5-4. Brantley in the real season had 14 home runs and 351 at-bats. This is home run number 3 on the replay, and at bat number 45. Home run number 3, RBI number 5. Cuts the lead to 5-4, and here comes Phil Bradley. Bradley homered in the first. 6-4, that's a ballpark single check, only a 1-5, so we'll keep the original ground ball to second since no one's on base. 2 down, and that's going to send up the hound dog, Jim Presley. He is 1 for 2. He doubled and scored in the first, struck out in the third. 2-2, and that's a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked by Greg Swindell. And Presley not too happy about it, but he trots down to first. Gives a little glare at Swindell, but moves on. Here's Dave Valley. That's a 1, so wild, but he has no wild pitch rate. He's a 0 wild pitch, so no wild pitch can occur. 5-11, and that's going to be a fly ball right field X. So we're looking at Snyder. He's a 2E11. 2E11, 2-18 is good. E11 and a 9 shouldn't be an issue, but we'll find out. E11. Yep, there's no 9 there. So good play for Corey Snyder to end the inning. But Seattle claws back with a run from the home run from Mickey Brantley. At the end of 5, it is 5-4 in favor of the Tribe. And this will definitely be the last inning for Bankhead. He's going to see if he can hang on and go through 6. Help their bullpen. Corey Snyder is your batter. And now Trujillo has sat down, and Steve Shields has gotten back up. 4-7, and that is a 1-3 double. Anything else he flies to center. That's a 2. So Corey Snyder cracks a double to lead things off. His 11th double of this replay. He had 24 of them in real world. That's double number 11. Here's Bernazard. Three-6 for Bernazard. That's a ground ball to second. That will get the runner to third. So fundamental baseball there. Grounding to the right side to move the runner over. Now the infield's going to have to come in. Down by a run. You don't want to give up any more. So the infield is in for Seattle with Brooke Jacoby at the plate. Jacoby 0 for 1, a walk and a liner to short. 2-8 for Jacoby. Struck him out. A big strikeout for Scott Bankhead. Only his third, but he needed it big time. Now the infield can go back to normal for Rick Dempsey. All we got to do is get Dempsey out. Dempsey in the clutch is actually neutral, so no adjustment for a clutch at bat. 1-8 for Dempsey. He's going to ground it to short, and Ramos makes the play, and Bankhead will go 6 innings. So he makes it all 6 innings, despite being fatigued after 3. He goes 6 innings. He's going to give up 7 hits and 5 runs, all of which were earned. He's going to walk. I think the only 2 walks were those 2 back-to-back that I can see. He struck out 3. He's on the hook for the loss unless his team can find its way back. And now Seattle has got new pitchers in their bullpen with lefties coming up potentially for Seattle. They may want to go that way. But they only have one lefty in the bullpen, Wilkinson. And that's who they've got. They got Bill Wilkinson loosening up in their bullpen. He will come in the 7th inning. So Bill Wilkinson will make the move or make the trek to start the top of the 7th. He's a -1, which makes him a 0 as well. All right, so Swindell, he's a fatigue of 7, so he can keep going, no problem. He'll be facing Davis, Christensen, and Kearney here in the bottom of the 6th. .17 for Davis, struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Swindell, as Cleveland clings to that 5-4 lead. Here's Christensen. 3-8 for Christensen against the lefty. He's going to draw a walk. He has walked twice now. In fact, both walks issued by, it's a third walk by Swindell. 2 of them have gone to Christensen. He's not really a threat to run, so we'll bring on Kearney. Stepping to the plate, he's 0 for 2. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. They were not holding Christensen on, so Bernazard will keep his 4E22. It's a possible double play if he gets a high number on the D20. He did not. 4 and 9 at best will be a fielder's choice. At best, might be a G3. 4 and 9 is actually a G3 pound, but he wasn't holding anybody on, so he will make the play. That's a 13. A 13, and Bernazard is an E22. There's a 12 there, but no 13. So Bernazard makes the play, but going to second base will be Christensen, his only play to first base. So 2 outs, and the tying run is in scoring position, making this a clutch situation for Domingo Ramos. In the clutch, though, he loses 4 hits in column 1. 1, 3, 1, 7, 1, 8, and 1, 9 all turn into outs. So definitely anti-clutch. But he found 6-11, which is a ballpark single check. Still pretty bad with only a 5 there. So that will be a line out to short to end the inning. And so Swindell pitches out of the mess. We will go to the 7th inning. Score still 5-4. And the new pitcher for Seattle is Bill Wilkinson. We'll bring him on in the computer. Let's get his numbers, both on the replay and real world. So Wilkinson, 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA and 10 saves in the real season. In the replay, 3-1 with 2 saves and a 3.96. So he's not too far off his number. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Butler. Brett Butler will lead things off against Wilkinson. Get a 1-4 for Butler, and that's a 1-6 single, but that's a 7, so he's going to line it right to Harold Reynolds for 1 away. 1 down, that brings up Franco. 1-8 for Franco, and he's going to get a base hit. Second hit of the game for Franco. He'll look to try to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 5 to get that lead. Does not get it. He'll hold. And here comes Pat Tabler. Wilkinson needs that Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play right about now. 2-8. Won't get it. That's a single to left. It's going to put runners at first and second with 1 out for Joe Carter. Carter all of a sudden found his stroke. He's 2 for 3. That's a leaner, but it's close enough. 6-10. As a catcher X, we're looking at Kearney, a 4.E9. 4-17 should be okay, you would think. Check it out here. 4 and a 17 for a catcher is going to be a straight out pop out. That's a 7, and Kearney is an E9. No 7 there, so it's a straight old pop out. So Carter, unable to do anything, he just pops it straight up the chute. Runners hold, 2 down. Now it's a clutch situation for Mel Hall, lefty on lefty. Mel Hall, see what he can do. 4-10, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Brantley. He's a 3E6. Has to make this play to save a run. 3-9 is iffy. I think he'll get to it, but I'm not sure. 3-9. Yep, he'll get to it. F2. That's a 12, and he is an E6 in center field. There is no 12 there, so Brantley makes the play, and that's going to keep the Tribe off the scoreboard. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time here in Seattle with the score 5-4 Cleveland. This will be the fatigue inning for Swindell, so we'll keep an eye on that. You'll be facing the bottom of the order, Reynolds, and then Brantley and Bradley. Reynolds 0 for 2. That's a 2-3. He's going to pop it up to second base where Bernazard makes the play. 1 down. Top of the order, Brantley. He homered his last time up. 1-3. That's a fly to right, where Corey Snyder puts it away. 2 down for Phil Bradley. Phil Bradley homered in the first. 0 for 2 cents. 2-3. He's going to strike out. So Greg Swindell will keep full endurance into the 8th inning. That's strikeout number 6. And we go to the 8th. It's still a 5-4 ball game. Five to 4 ball game. Wilkinson coming back out. He'll pitch the 8th. He'll be facing Snyder, Bernazard, and Jacoby. Snyder 1 for 3 with a double. 6-7, and that's a 1 to 10 single. That's a 7, so it's a base hit for Jacoby, or for Snyder rather. Base hit for Snyder. He's no threat to run. They'll hold him there. Well, they won't hold him on, I should say. Here's Bernazard. 3-8 for Bernazard against the lefty. Is a ground ball third base. Hey, that's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. It's not the tailor-made double play, but it's a double play nonetheless, and Seattle will desperately take it. 3-8 against the lefty. Ground ball third base A. So your pitcher's best friend just showed up at the right time if you are Seattle. Quick 2 outs, and that brings up Jacoby. The base is cleared now. 2-5 for Jacoby, and that's a single to right field. 2-out single for Jacoby. We'll bring up Dempsey. 3-6 for Dempsey. A 1's a home run, but that's a 17, so he will fly it to left, and that will end the inning. So Wilkinson does his job. He goes 2 innings. He might actually, he's going to come out and start the 9th and at least face Butler if nobody else, just for that lefty-on-lefty matchup. He might go and go all 3 innings if it's effective. Might as well. So here's Swindell. He keeps full endurance for the 8th inning, and he'll be facing Presley, Valley, and Davis here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Presley hit by the pitch his last time up. 3-10. And he's going to get payback of sorts. 1 to 12 is a double. It'll be a single, though, with that 15. So Presley, a leadoff single. He is the tying run on base. Cleveland bullpen starting to stir just a bit, although it's a bad bullpen. I mean, it's terrible. They don't have much out there. They're going to look at left-hander Ed Vandenberg and right-hander, let's see, who's the right-hander they want to go to? Not much. Man, they're just bad. Just terrible. Mark Huseman, a right-hander, a former Mariner, I do believe. So Huseman, the righty, Vandenberg, the lefty, loosening the Cleveland bullpen. Right now, here's Dave Valley. That's a 3-6, and that's a solid double to center field. Butler's a 0 arm. We'll see if they want to test the runner here. Presley's an 11, not being held as a 12. You get a 1 to 12 shot, but you're down by 1, so I would think second and third, nobody out would be just what the doctor ordered for you. And that comes Alvin Davis. This is probably going to be the last batter Swindell's going to face, lefty on lefty. And the infield has come in. They don't want to give up the tying run. The infield is in against Alvin Davis. Get a 5-5. That's a strikeout, a huge one by Swindell. Strikeout number 7. Now, what do you do if you're Cleveland? You got Christensen, the righty. If you bring in a right-handed pitcher, they will bring in Kingery to pinch hit, so you might like your chances better, Swindell against Christensen. And that's what they will do. They will keep it that way, just to keep Kingery on the bench. And here's Christensen now. Infield still in. That's a 2-5, and he struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Swindell. And now the infield goes back to normal. Kearney is your scheduled hitter. He will not hit. They will go to a better hitter. Righty notwithstanding, they've got to go to a better hitter. And they will go to John Moses off the bench. 246 hitter. And Scott Bradley would come in to catch. But they don't have much on the bench. The only other bench players they have are 2 lefties, Kingery and Phelps. And neither one of them are very good against lefties. So they're going to have to go with John Moses. So Kearney is out of there. So we have Moses pinch hitting here in the 8th. And then we're going to have Scott Bradley do the catching in the 9th. That's the benefit of carrying 3 catchers. That's the luxury that you get to have. Clutch situation for Moses. See what he does in the clutch. He loses a hit on 1-2 and on 2-10. Moses on the real season hit .246 with 3 home runs. And let's see what he's going to do here. What he's done on the replay, I should say. Moses on the replay is hitting .255, 3 homers, 27 driven in. So switch hitter Moses against Swindell in a clutch situation. Second and third, 2 outs. So 5-4 game here in the 8th. 4-10 against a right-hander. In-home run chance 1-19. That is a 19, but he's got a weak power, but it's still good enough for a single, a 2-run single from John Moses. And the Mariners take the lead. How do you like that? Swindell is out of there now, but I think the damage has obviously been done. 2-run single from John Moses. Swindell is tired, but I think it doesn't matter. He's going to come out anyway, just based on what he's given up. So they will go to the bullpen, will the Tribe, and they will bring on right-handed throwing Mark Huseman out of the bullpen to take on Ramos. Huseman is a -2 hold, which makes him a -1 as they try to keep Moses close at second base. So we get the numbers on Swindell, at least the partial numbers. 7 2/3 innings he's going to go. He's going to give up 7 hits. So far, 6 runs, but he is responsible for Moses as well. Struck out 8, walking 3. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way as Huseman tries to get this third and final out. And it's going to be John Moses that on the base pass trying to get a lead. He needs a 2 through 10 or a 12 to get the lead, but an 11 he gets picked off. Now, do they want to send him is the question. A -1 arm, so he would be a 1 to 12. I think that's worth a gamble, 60% chance. So they're going to send him. But first, let's get the numbers on Huseman before we get ahead of ourselves. Huseman on the real season, 2-3 with a 5.04 ERA and 2 saves. On the replay, he's 0-4 with a 6.18 ERA. So Moses is going to try for the lead. 6, he gets the lead, so he's going to go. And again, we calculated it. He's a 15, being held as a 13, -1's a 12. 1 to 12, he steals it. And he does. Stolen base for Moses. He gets into scoring position. That could be big. That's a big insurance run out there that's 90 feet closer. And he runs at a 17, so on most any base hit, he's going to probably score. So Ramos is up. Clutch situation for Ramos. Again, though, that clutch thing, he takes away 4 hits. 5-6, and that's a 1 to 2 double. That's a 12. He'll fly to left, and that's the end of the inning. But the Mariners take a 6-5 lead as we go to the top of the 9th. We can close the book now on Swindell. 6 runs, all earned. Go to the top of the 9th. It is now Seattle 6 and Cleveland 5. And now Seattle will have to bring in Scott Bradley to catch on the computer. That'll leave Kingery and Phelps as the 2 bench players remaining. Actually, they're going to leave Moses. They're going to keep Moses in the game in center field because he's a better defender than Brantley is. So Bradley will actually hit in the number 1 position and stay in the game to catch. Moses will stay in the game to play center field, hitting in the number 7 position. So Moses will hit in this position in center field. So Moses will actually stay in the game to center field in the 9th. And Bradley will be here batting leadoff and catching. So that's where that's going to be. Wilkinson went 2 innings. Do they go to the bullpen? Well, they're going to leave Wilkinson in right away to face the left-hander Butler. But then they do have their closer, Edward Nunez, although he's not all that great. I guess Wilkinson had 10 saves. That's pretty good for a closer as well. Nunez, let's see what he's got on his closing. Nunez had 12 saves real world. So Jose Nunez, or Edwin Nunez, I should say. Edwin Nunez is in the bullpen, but they're going to have Wilkinson face Butler, and then Nunez will come in and face the righties after that. So this will be Wilkinson's last batter to be faced. Wilkinson is in line to get the win if the score holds up the way it is. Butler lefty on lefty against Wilkinson. That's a 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance right off the bat, but Butler has weak power, so it will only be a single. But that's going to help Cleveland get the tying run to the on base, I should say. Wilkinson will now leave the game. Is actually shown as being tired. So we will have him step out of there, and Edwin Nunez will be coming on to take over. Edwin Nunez will be the new pitcher. And he's actually a better hold rating, too, despite being right-handed. He's a -4. So we go to Nunez. And his minus, now the new catcher is Bradley, and he's a +2. So that's going to make this a -2 on the hold, which is big if Butler tries to steal, obviously. Wilkinson's going to go 2+, and he's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So far, no runs, but he is responsible for Butler. He can win it, but he can't lose it. And no walks or strikeouts that I can see. So Nunez is on, and the real season Nunez 3-4 with 12 saves and an ERA of 3.80. On the replay, he's 0-0 with 5 saves and an ERA of even 3. 15 innings pitched, 13 hits, 6 walks, and 15 strikeouts. So Nunez will be on. We'll see if Butler can obtain the lead, or do they even try it? That's also the question. I had to sneeze there for a second. I did manage to hit the mute button just in time. But Butler, man, I think you have to try for the lead here. 2 through 8 or a 12. He gets the lead. He's going to go. He's a 15. Being held as a 13. -2 is an 11. 55% chance. 1 to an 11 for Butler. And he's in there. Stolen base. Stolen base for Butler, and that is huge. He is the tying run. He's in scoring position with nobody out, and he's got good speed. Franco, your batter. Against Nunez. That's a 3-10 for Franco. That's a single 2 stars, and we got a tie ball game just that quickly. Stolen base paid dividends. Franco, RBI single. We are tied at 6 apiece. And now Wilkinson will get a no decision, as will Swindell. Swindell gets off the hook. Tied up at 6 apiece. Franco now can get a lead. He needs a 2 through 5 to obtain a good lead. And he gets that lead. He's going to go 19, being held as a 17. -2 is a 15. 1 to 15, he makes it. And he does. Stolen base for Franco. Now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with nobody out, and Corey Snyder, the batter. Corey Snyder. Oops, why do I have I'm sorry, it's Tabler, not Snyder. I don't know why I said Snyder. Tabler's the batter. 1-3, and that's a hit by pitch. So that puts runners at first and second for Joe Carter. Carter has a chance to blow this thing wide open. Hello, Dan. I'm glad you're here, ID. I actually recorded a game yesterday that I'm going to upload right after this game is over. Fall Classic. So I'm going to upload it as a what do you call it? As a premiere, so I can be in the chat and I want to get feedback on what I messed up. So hopefully the game, I thought the game went pretty well, but I'm using charts, no fast action cards, just the charts. So now, granted, I do admit that when I played the game, my charts were a little bit unorganized. So a couple times it took me a second to find the chart. So I'm not actually asking for feedback on my presentation per se. I just want feedback on any rules I messed up. That's what I'm really looking forward to. If I got the rules right, then that's all I care about for now. I'll work on the presentation later. I'll put those charts in a book to make it easier and all that stuff. So it's actually turned out to be a pretty interesting game. I thought it was an enjoyable game. I had fun. That was the whole point, right? To have fun. So anyway, Joe Carter is up now. Two 4 for Carter, and that is a ground ball third base A. Yet another double play. Not tailor-made, but they'll take it. 5-4-3 around the horn. Get some 2 quick outs. Franco does take third on the play, but now they're a 2 away. So Joe Carter getting into that double play was huge. And now all they have to do is get Mel Hall out to end the inning. Mel Hall is 1 for 4 on the game. First base is open. They could walk him and pitch to Snyder. That's certainly a thought. And I think they will. With first base open, they're going to intentionally walk the left-hander Hall and go after the right-hander Corey Snyder. I think they have better odds there. So could be a debatable move to intentionally walk another run on there, but they're going for that third out. Corey Snyder in the clutch will lose a couple of hits. 1-9 and 1-10. So they're playing the percentages there. See what Nunez will do here against Corey Snyder. Trying to keep the game tied. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base exit. It's up to Harold Reynolds. Did he watch enough baseball tonight to make the play? 2-19, he'll get there. E21 and a 7 should be okay. And it is, so he makes the play and the inning's over. So the intentional walk, I assume, paid off. Never know what Mel Hall would have done. But it doesn't matter what he would have done because it's an out. So we go to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 6. Huseman back out. ID, when they lose a hit on the clutch, the standard Strat rule is if he's right-handed, he lines it to short. If he's left-handed, he lines to second. But if there's a situation where it won't affect base running, then I will take the original out. So let me see if I can find one real quick on here that I can explain this and show you what I'm talking about, if I can find one. Where are you at, Butler? That's only if the original result without the clutch was an out. If the original result of the clutch was a single, then yes, I go with line out to short, line out to second. But if the original clutch result was an out that would have turned into a hit, and let's see here, hold on. Where'd it go? No, I'm thinking ballpark. Never mind, I'm thinking ballpark. Yeah, when it's a failed clutch, it's L6, L4. That's what the rule is. I was thinking ballpark checks are the one, because if it's a failed, if he had the original wasn't out, it turns to a hit, so you can't really change it that way. Now, if you want to alter it to be a line out to first and a line out to third just to mix it up, you're certainly welcome to do so. So, Dan, I did watch part of that thing with Tebow, and that was pretty interesting. I'm not an APA guy. That's the only part that, I mean, I did watch it just to see what some of the things they might say, but I'm really not up on APA. But I really did enjoy Fall Classic, so if I learn that game, that might be my second go-to. And I even said so in my video, that it might be my secondary to Strat-O-Matic as a good complement to Strat-O-Matic. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. Coming up for the Mariners, scheduled is Reynolds, Bradley. Reynolds, Bradley, because Brantley's no longer in the game. Reynolds, Bradley, and Bradley are your scheduled hitters. And let's see, did we go with Mark Huseman? He only faced one batter, so I think we're going back with Huseman again, the former Mariner. Yeah, I think he said he lives. Did he say he lives up near Pittsburgh somewhere or in Pennsylvania? I'm not sure exactly where he lives, but I think that's where he said he lives. I'm not 100% sure. I know that I'm not near anybody. I'm in bad shape. Nobody else is in the Virginia area that I know of, so I'm along with the closest person I am to is to like Tenacious Earl, and he's in Delaware. That's about as close as I can get. All right, here's Harold Reynolds to lead it off to start the bottom of the ninth, tied at 6 against Huseman. 6-9 switch hitters, a pop out to first. It'll be handled by Carter, one away. Oh, you're in Knoxville. Okay, that's still probably a good haul. Richmond to Knoxville is probably not close. All right, so let's see here. Reynolds pops it to first. And that brings up Scott Bradley. Remember, he came in to catch when they pinch hit for Kearney, but since Moses stayed in the game in center in this spot, they put up Bradley here in Brantley's spot. So Bradley is your batter. And this will be the first at bat in the game for Bradley. He hit 270. He's hitting 271 on the replay. No homers, 21 driven in. He hit 278 real world. That's a 4-4, and that's a ground ball right back to Huseman. And there's 2 away. Dan, I don't know how close you are to Lemoyne, Pennsylvania, but that's where Giovanni's Tailor Shop is. The unofficial sponsor of the Demos channel, but they do sponsor, whether they know it or not, they do sponsor the tailor-made double play of the game, of which we have not had one yet. I don't think we did anyway. I think both double plays have been 5-4-3. All right, here is Phil Bradley. 4-8 for Bradley. Is a base on balls, so that'll keep the inning going. We'll see if Bradley wants to run. He certainly should. 2 through 5 to get the lead. That's an 8. He does not get the lead. So it's up to the hound dog, Jim Presley. (3-9) for Presley. That's a single to center field. Single to center. Butler's a 0 arm. 16 being held as a 15. 1-15. And he's going to be in scoring position at second base. I really don't think you want to take that chance. Oh, there are 2 outs. I'll take it back. There are 2 outs. That changes the whole ball game. That makes it 1-17. So 1-17, they're going to send him to third base. And they will throw through, of course, because Presley's under 13, so he can only go to first. Plus, his run doesn't mean anything anyway. So Bradley, 1-17, he's at third base. And he's in there. So important there to get to third with 2 outs, because now, a pass ball or a wild pitch or error or anything like that will end the ball game. Balk, who knows? All sorts of things can happen with that. Dave Valley is your scheduled hitter, but he's going to be called back. They're going to the big guy, Ken Phelps. Ken Phelps, the big guy, is coming on to pinch hit for Dave Valley. And he would stay in the game to DH as long as the game goes. So Ken Phelps is going to pinch hit here in the 9th inning with runners in the corners and 2 outs. Valley in the game. Let's see here. He's actually 2 for 4, homer and a double, but they like the matchup with the lefty. So they're going to Ken Phelps off the bench. That will leave Kingery as the only bench player remaining, an outfielder. So Phelps on the real season hit 259 with 27 home runs. And on the replay, he's hitting 237 with 11 home runs in 139 at-bats. So Huseman facing Phelps. Runners on the corners. It is a clutch situation In the clutch, Phelps does gain a hit on 310. That appears to be his only clutch result. That's a 611. Ground ball pitcher X. He's an E38. He is a 3 E38 according to Strat-O-Matic computer. He's a 3 range. For some reason, the Strat-O-Matic computer lists him as an E42, but the card is an E38. I'm going to stick with the E38. So he's a 3 E38. 3 to 16, he'll get to that. The question is it going to be an error? That is a 15. That's a little dangerous. E38 and a 15 is right there. Oddly enough, the E42 is not an error, but the card says E38, and that's what I'm going with. So that's an error, and that's the ball game. I don't know why they switched that off like that. But there it is. It's going to be an error on Huseman, and that's your ball game. Scoring, and the winning run is Scott Bradley. And the Mariners defeat the Tribe 7-6. 7-6, but it isn't clearly an E38 on his card, so I'm not going to override that. He makes the error, boots it. Nunez gets the win in relief. The loss will go to Huseman. We'll get the totals in a second. Once we go ahead and put this result in. It's obviously an unearned run, but it counts all the same. We go to the box score in this one. Nunez, the winner, he blew the save, but he gets the win, so he's a 1-0, first blown save. Huseman takes the loss. He's now 0-5 in relief. Huseman's going to go 1 inning, give up a hit, and the run, which was unearned. Walk and no strikeouts. Nunez, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, and a walk, no strikeouts. Total line score, Seattle 7 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Cleveland 6 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error. Cleveland left 9 on base. Seattle left 6 on base. Oh, Clutch Rule says the pop out, not a line out. Not that it matters all that much, but it's hello, Kamish and Bob. Good to see you. That's a good question. I don't remember when I started that. I'd have to go back and look at the first video I ever did in my playlist and try to figure that out. Let me go back to my playlist here real quick, assuming I can find it. See exactly. It's been a minute. I'll put it that way. It's been a minute. Oh, here we go. All right, so let's go back to the very first one. And the very first one, according to this, was September the 2nd, 2024 is when I started, according to this. That was when I played the opening day game between Toronto and Cleveland. September 2nd, 2024 is my start date, if you're curious about such things. That is what we have going on for the start date. All right, so Cleveland drops to 22-37. Seattle improves to 24-36. Don't really have a player of the game per se. Presley did go 3 for 4. But I don't know particularly, and it looks more like Cleveland gave it away versus Seattle winning it. But Presley being 3 for 4, hit by pitch, so he reached base 4 times, scored 2 runs. Maybe give it to him, possibly. Hard to say. Now, the only game scheduled left on the June 12th date is a doubleheader between the Twins and the White Sox. I will play that offline. And then come Monday, we'll be on the June 13th date. And the first game to be played on June the 13th, again going east to west, we are looking at, let's see, there's 7 games, so I play 5 of them, 2 of them offline. So I got to pick the ones I play offline versus online. So it appears that I will play the Toronto-Baltimore game offline. So that means Monday morning, we're looking at Milwaukee and the Yankees. Juan Nieves for the Brewers and Rick Rhoden for the Yankees. That'll be the Monday game, Yankees and Milwaukee. The Tuesday game is set to be the Twins and the White Sox, Les Straker against Rich Dotson. Wednesday is Boston at Detroit. That's Bob Stanley at Petrie. Thursday is California and Kansas City. Willie Frazier against ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubaza. And then on Friday, it looks like we're looking at Cleveland and Seattle again. Phil Niekro against Mark Langston. So Oakland, Texas, and Toronto, Baltimore, I will play offline. So that's the intended schedule. However, I have recorded and will be putting on Fall Classic. It's my test game to see how I do with the rules and the cards and dice and the charts rather than the fast action cards. There are no fast action cards were injured in the production of that video. So there will be no fast action cards, strictly charts. And actually, I think the game for me flows better with the charts once I get them in place. Now, granted, I went through a little bit of a time there where they were somewhat unorganized, but that was my fault. I should have organized them better. I didn't. I kind of rushed putting the game on because I wanted to get the game on in a hurry. But once I get down the settings of how I want to do it and get the charts in a little booklet or a notebook of some sort like Replay Gamer has, where it's really organized, you just flip from one page to the other, kind of like APA, then I will hopefully it'll be a much better production. So I'm not asking for feedback on how the production went, because there are certain times where there's a lull where I'm looking for a chart. So I'll warn you ahead of time for that. But what I'm mainly looking on feedback for is if I did a rule incorrectly. That is the thing I'm working on, because I want to make sure that I understand the rules, and I don't want to think I have a rule correct when it's wrong, because then you start doing the wrong thing over and over and over. It doesn't do you any good. So let's see, what time is it now? It's 10:28. I think Uncle Ron probably is streaming at noon. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'm going to immediately, because I think my video went, let me see how many minutes that I think it went like 1 hour and 20 minutes. So I don't want to cross over into Ron's time. So let me take a look here and see how long the video went. Yeah, it's 1.5 hour video. So yeah, I pretty much need to get it on here right now. So I'm going to sign off here, and then we're going to go straight into the Fall Classic. I'm going to heat up my coffee, and I'm going to put it as a premiere so I can interact with you guys as you watch it, so that you can give me instant feedback on maybe either something I'm doing wrong, on suggestions to make it better, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to take about a 5-minute break here, get everything set up. Ron is, oh, you don't know who Ron is? Oh, I thought everybody knew who Ron was. He is Retro Sports Network. He does action PC games a lot of times at noon Eastern. And I think he's scheduled to do a game at noon Eastern today. So Uncle Ron, we call him. Not just Ron, but Uncle Ron. So check him out. It's a wonderful channel if you haven't checked him out. He's very, very good. He does a very smooth game of action PC replay. People have said he kind of reminds people, his style kind of reminds people of Vin Scully, which I don't disagree with at all. Not saying he is Vin Scully. I'm just saying his style kind of mimics that a little bit. And maybe kind of his speech accent does as well, mannerisms perhaps. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sign this off and get ready to get the Fall Classic game up. And hopefully I didn't butcher it too badly. We will find out. So for now, Seattle comes back on a walk-off error by the pitcher Mark Huseman to win the game 7-6. Next Strat-O-Matic game will be on Monday morning. It'll be Milwaukee and the Yankees as we start June the 13th date. But for now, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all hopefully in a few minutes for the Fall Classic game. If not, I will see you all down the road.